Wassalatu wassalamu rasulullah wa ba'd. Family, friends, foes, haters, hatettes. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Alhamdulillah, I am back on my Facebook lives. I appreciate the love and the patience that you guys have showed me. As you guys know, most of you know that I was quite ill there for a while. I still am sick, but alhamdulillah, I'm doing my thing, man. So, I do appreciate the love and the support that I got from you guys. And inshallah, I'm going to keep doing these lives for you. So just give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up if you guys can hear me. Let me know how the sound is and let me know how you guys are doing. How is everybody? How is your family? How is your lockdown in COVID land? How is work? Let me know what's up, inshallah. So I want to say, again, I want to thank everybody for the support and your kind words through, my whatchamacallit, my journey here on YouTube. And I got a lot of good feedback from the commentaries that I did, like the the reaction videos I did for Sheikh Uthman Farouk, and I got a lot of people requesting, even calling me on my personal line, asking me to continue doing these type of videos, right? So if you like those type of videos, then inshallah just give me a topic and then I can probably see which which reactions videos we can do. So today's topic, inshallah, it's a heavy one. Okay, it is about the issues of protesting, particularly with the Black Lives Matter and the Palestine issue. And for the last year or so, we've had, we've seen a lot of, very heavy and deep social issues pertaining Black people. Of course, there's a global Black awakening. And then we saw what happened recently with Palestine. And I wanted to basically give my 2 cents on this particular issue concerning protest and protesting. So give me the thumbs up. Everybody give me the thumbs up, thumbs up. Like, subscribe, share. Please share. Please subscribe. Please hit me up on Patreon. And let's get right into it, inshallah. So for those of you who know me, like, I know quite a bit about the history behind these type of intelligence agencies and how they deal with Black groups in the Black community. And also, I've said it many times before, right? And I continue to say it, that the Black struggle is the Muslim struggle, and the Muslim struggle is the Black struggle. And they really can't be separated, because the same tactics that these people use against the Black community, they're basically using a copy-paste system against the Muslim community. And the quicker that Muslims can actually realize that, the quicker that they can actually make some impact in the West. Because what happens is Muslims come from the Eastern countries like Pakistan, whatever Arabic country you're from, you come over here and you don't try to make dawah or anything. You're coming here to basically participate in white supremacy. And because of that, you get pushed into becoming what is known as the model minority. And this this type of social engineering tactic is essentially what causes Muslims to get stuck in this type of like a vortex where they're only concerned about getting an education and getting a house and a vehicle and basically going through the motions in order to live a peaceful life, which they didn't have in their own countries. So now come in the issue with Palestine. Now, Palestine is not a particularly new issue. However, I would say, even though it's not a new issue, it's a modern issue compared to the Black struggle. I'll say it again. It's a modern issue compared to the Black struggle. The issue in Palestine is modern compared to the Black struggle. And you find Palestinians in 2020, when the George Floyd protests broke out, who were the first people that the Palestinians identified with? They identified with the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, why is that? What is it that brings Palestinians together to join, not to join, but to show solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement? Why is that? It's because, remember when I said, and I'll say it again, the Black struggle is the Muslim struggle. Remember when I said that? What we see in Palestine is an apartheid system. What is apartheid? Apartheid is essentially where you have regional racism. You have parts of land where certain ethnic groups live, and they have certain laws for that ethnic group, which is separate and, basically against the better interest of those people as compared to the ruling class. You understand me? So if you guys can hear me, give me the thumbs up, please. Give me the thumbs up. Give me the thumbs up if you guys can hear me. All right. So this apartheid system, as I mentioned before, is a copy-paste system. What do you mean, Bilal? This is something that white supremacists practice internationally, and they just basically take that system and give it different names. So in America, in the South, it was called segregation. In the North, it was called redlining. In Brazil, it was called favelas. In South America, it's called apartheid. And they have the same system. They use this system in Indonesia. They use the system all over Africa. They use the system in Mexico. They use the system in Colombia. This apartheid system is the same copy and paste system that they've been using against Black people for hundreds of years. And now they use this system, this apartheid system, whether you want to call it redlining or segregation, whatever you want to call it, it's the same thing, right? They use the same system against the Palestinians. So why is this important? And what does this have to do with protesting? I'm getting to it. Just let me build up, all right? Let me build up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. Thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. Hit me up on Patreon. So now, ever since I was young, ever since I was a kid, we have been seeing we have been seeing protest for Palestine since I was young. You know, they have intifadas, and you would find these certain groups, they would fire rockets and bombs and whatnot, like Hamas and Hezbollah. They would fire into Israel, and Israel will have a heavy-handed response. And the next thing you know, the protest happened. And this happened over and over and over and over again, all the way up into last week, as you saw recently. And the whole point of keeping people stuck in this protest mode is because this mode of protest makes your reactions predictable for the enemy. Are you understanding me? Are you catching me now? This is nothing new. Protests have been a strategy for Black people since the civil rights movement. And the enemy, they are not interested in equity or equality with Black folk or any darker skinned people on the planet. They're not interested in that. What they're interested in is how to keep their power going without letting the people know that the power is still going. So they have certain tricks and tactics that they use in order to keep people oppressed. So while you think you're actually doing something, you're not doing anything. Now, if you look at the protesters, I don't want anybody to mix this up with the protesters as opposed to the protest, as opposed to the enemy. They're all different things, right? The protesters, you know, we sympathize with the protesters, of course. We sympathize with the Palestinians. We sympathize with Black people internationally. There's a Black global awakening happening as we speak. You understand? So we sympathize with this. But Muslims got to understand that y'all just got here. Y'all just got here. And especially when older brothers are telling you that protests are reactionary, they're not a solution to anything. There's a reason why we're telling you that. Now, in the Muslim community, what you find is that you have two big camps, right? You have the camp which are like all about the protests, all about the activism, all about going in the streets with their signs and their placards and standing up for the rights. And then you have on the other side, these guys who say protesting is haram, protesting is la yajuz, you know what I mean? It's not permissible, you know, and it's not from the sunnah and all this kind of stuff. I'm not here to debate the halal or haram of it. I'm only here to talk about what is the end goal or the strategy behind protests. Is there an end goal behind protesting? That's all I want to discuss. Those people who are saying it's haram and this and that, these guys who speak like that, they tell the Muslims, these are the guys who tend to tell the Muslims all about halal and haram, and they have no solutions for the community at all. You understand? Like nothing, zero. They want to forever be telling you what you can and can't do with their imamas and their thobes and sitting down in their chairs with their big beards and whatnot, and quoting some alim from some Arabian country and tell you that what is permissible, not as permissible, and they never give you any solution to your problems. Never. And on the other hand, you find the people who are like very into this type of activism and on the streets and this and that. And these people tend to be on the other end of the spectrum. They tend to be hasty. They tend to be the types that take advantage of the pain of the people for their own benefit, for their masajid or their organizations or whatnot. So you have two extremes and two very far wide extremes. Both of them don't have any solutions for the community at large. And then you have the brothers with experience who are telling you that these things are reactionary, and you don't really know what's going on, right? You don't know what's happening. You don't understand why the enemy is not really moved by your protest. When Donald Trump last year, he signed this treaty with these Arab countries. When he signed that treaty with these Arab countries, it didn't even take very long until Israel decided that they were going to, be aggressive against the Palestinians. And it's very predictable, very predictable. And that's the only thing that was different with Palestine this time, is that Israel had the backing of Arab countries. Why? Because those same Arab countries were getting munitions and weapons and recognition from their white zaddies in America. And this tactic has been used for the better part of 500 years, where these Europeans will go into these Muslim lands in West Africa, sell these people weapons so that they can fight against their other tribesmen. Meanwhile, they use this as a tactic of divide and conquer. And nothing has changed in 500 years. 500 years of been doing the same thing. Where does Boko Haram get their weapons from? Where does Al Qaeda get their weapons from? Where does ISIS get their weapons from? They ain't producing their own weapons. Somebody got to be selling it to them. So these divide and conquer tactics are nothing new. And this is something, the only thing that's new here is that Israel got the backing of Arab countries. So why am I mentioning this part? It's because if they can plan so far and so meticulous like that, so far ahead and so meticulous like that, you don't think that they can plan for your protest as well? Whenever they attack Palestine, they already calculate and predict the reaction of your protest and how they're going to make their next move. Are you understanding me? So in 2 years, 1 or 2 years, it's going to be another, land grab by the Israelis. You're going to be on the streets again. They're going to cool it for another 2 or 3 years, and then they're going to take more and more and more land. That's the strategy. Are you understanding me? That's the strategy. So while you're protesting, they're actually planning and implementing their plans to take land from Palestinians, and you can't do nothing about it. If you look at Israel, where it's located, you have Egypt on the west side. You have in the south, you have Saudi Arabia. In the north, you have Turkey. On the east, you have Jordan and Lebanon and Syria and all these kind of places. So Israel itself or Palestine itself is surrounded by Muslim countries. So, completely surrounded. And you think that they're moved by protest? Your reactions tell them how far that they can go. You're talking about people who really don't value human life. Are you understanding me? When I keep saying, the enemy is white supremacy, the enemy is white supremacy, I don't think you guys actually understand the implications of that. If you look at Zionism, for example, Zionism is a form of white supremacy. That thing started. If you look at whatchamacallit, if you look at the Illuminati is white supremacy. Democrats are white supremacists. Republicans are white supremacists. Conservatives, liberals, capitalism. Capitalism is a system to prop up white people internationally. Same thing with communism. All these systems are there to prop up the ruling class. So when you have protests, they're calculating their moves based upon your protest. Are you understanding me? Whether it's halal, haram, I'm not here for that debate, right? I'm here to let you know that the enemy don't care about you on the streets, human life, these type of things. You are living in Western society under their rule. And you still haven't figured out to play the game. Let me give you a perfect example, okay? I believe it was today, it marked yesterday, it marked the 100-year anniversary of the Tulsa, Oklahoma Black Wall Street race riots, correct? 100-year anniversary, okay? Black people since the 60s have been walking in, sitting in, riding in, marching, singing in with their signs, "We shall overcome," and all kind of stuff for all kinds of different Black rights. Black people have been doing this for the better part of more than a half century, okay? More than a half century. And not even a full month into the presidency of Joe Biden did he sign a bill for Asians, giving them billions of dollars. Asians, okay? No reparations for Black people. They just didn't have to do anything. They just had to show up. Are you understanding me? They did not protest. They did not walk on the streets. They didn't have to do anything. Just because Donald Trump hurt their feelings a couple of 1-2 times, Joe Biden signed this bill. Barack Obama, 8 years as president, made every single possible concession he could for the LGBTQs. And not one thing did he do for Black people. Not a single thing. Even though Black people have been protesting for the better part of more than a half century. Protesting. Are you understanding me? Protesting is not a strategy. Why is it that a small group of Zionist Jews can literally get reparations from the American government every single year, selling them weapons and billions of dollars every year, and Black folk can't get a red penny? Why is that? It's because we're going to live in white supremacist society, but under the thumb of the people who created that society. They know and understand the rules, and the game is rigged. And they only react based upon the way that you react. They act while you react. They have 20, 30, 40, 50-year plans, and they plan for your marching in the streets when they oppress you. Are you getting it? That's why I mentioned in the beginning that we've been seeing protests for Palestine since I was a kid. Has the protest helped them then? And how they help them now? And the answer is no. What you're seeing is a veneer of support. It's something that keeps the enemy safe. Are you feeling me? Because they allow you to have this type of symbolic psychological win that you've actually done something when you're out on the street screaming and on the microphone and yelling and giving speeches and with your signs and blah, 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 right? Meanwhile, while you're fighting them with signs, they're fighting you with bombs and bullets. So Bilal, what is the strategy? What do you think we should be doing? I said it on this channel many times before, and I'm going to say it again, right? Our strategy should be building functional, strong communities in West. That should be our strategy. It should not be building a masjid. It should not be building a community center. It should not be building, whatchamacallit. We don't need any more of these donation drives and all. No, we should be building a functional community, and we have to get to work. And when I say work, I mean an incredible amount of work. In the West, other ethnic groups come and do the same thing. They come, they buy up land, they build their communities, they police their own communities, whatever, they build their schools and whatnot. This is how we should be thinking. That this idea of Easterners coming to the West and integrating into white supremacist society, thinking that it's not going to affect their children. Well, how's that working out for you? How is that working out for you? Nobody knows more about activism in the West than Black people. Nobody has more experience with activism in the West than Black people. Nobody knows the ups and downs and how quickly the government can infiltrate organizations and activist groups and masajid than Black people. Nobody knows it more than us. So maybe you should listen to the ones who have experience with these issues. As I mentioned before, see, I want to show y'all something, okay? Just let me show y'all something. I mentioned before about protests, right? How it's a reaction. It's not action. It's a reaction. And the enemy calculates your reactions. And the problem with Muslims is that they don't even want to say the enemy's their enemy. They can't even say it. They can't say it. They would rather call other Muslims their enemies than the actual enemy, like the real enemy that fits every description of the enemy in the Quran and the Sunnah. They can't call that person an enemy. Every description, Taghut, Zalim, Mushrik, you know what I mean? Practicing sihr, you name it. Every, like a durable being, an open enemy. You can't call them the enemy. You can't do it. Every country that you come from is catching hell because of the same enemy that you're running to. And you still can't call them an enemy. All these border states, all these nation states, the enemy made them nation states. You didn't make them nation states. And they enslaved your own people in your own nations and steal your resources from your countries. And you come in here to live the good life. But I digress. I digress, okay? I want to show y'all something, man. Look at this. Let me do this thing here. I want to share this screen here. Let me see. Or you know what? Maybe I'll do another video with that. But basically, I saw a video today with the Black Congressional Caucus celebrating the 100-year anniversary of the Tulsa Massacre. Okay, I saw this video, and these Black folk were on the streets, shucking and jiving, dancing, right? Like, no joke, they're like dancing in the streets. And they're talking about the government of America should give reparations to the victims of the descendants of Tulsa. Not all Black people, just the victims of the descendants of Tulsa. Do you know how many massacres happen in the United States against Black people? Do you know? To be honest, nobody knows the real number, but I would say I wouldn't put it short of a few hundred. Do you know how many Black neighborhoods were destroyed during the building of freeways in the United States? Do you know that Central Park used to be a Black neighborhood, and the government came in and destroyed that Black neighborhood and turned it into a park? And they're talking about reparations for the victims of the 100-year surviving victims. There's only one surviving victim left, as far as I know. They want to give reparations to surviving victims of Tulsa only. Why? Why is that? It's because they are white people's Black people. They're doing their job very well. They're trying to sidetrack the pain of Black suffering in the West and bring it towards and specify that only this one thing happened. We didn't talk about mass incarceration. We didn't talk about 3 strikes. We didn't talk about the war on drugs and the crack epidemic. We didn't talk about 1985 bombing in Philadelphia. We didn't talk about any of that stuff. We didn't talk about the Black Panther Party, the assassination and the arrest of the Black Panthers in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, and dismantling of the Black Panther Party. We didn't talk about that. But the Black Congressional Caucus is looking for reparations for only, and I mean only, the victims of the family of the victims of the Tulsa massacre. Only them. This is what they have to ask for. Did the Asians ask for that $10 billion reparation package from Joe Biden? Did they ask for that? Did they ask for that? No, they didn't ask for that. They didn't have to do all that shucking and jiving. But that's what happens when you don't have a strategy. Fred Hampton, he said that war is politics with weapons. And politics is war without weapons. And I'm telling you, in 2021, the media is warfare. Politics is warfare. Business is warfare. Even your food is warfare. They have been weaponizing food against Black people for the last how many years? And not just in the West, also in Africa. Look at Africa. They tell you that these African countries are poor. They tell you that Ghana is poor and Nigeria is poor and Congo is poor and Kenya is poor. They tell you all that, but all I see is rich white corporations in Africa stealing from those poor nations while enslaving the people in their own nations. And you want to tell me about a protest? You don't need a protest. You need a plan. You need a plan. And as a Muslim, any plan you have, you need Allah on your side, because this enemy is like Pharaoh. Only Allah can help us out of this. And when he does help us out of this, the glory will go to Allah only. But you need a plan. You need a plan. And I say, you need to start with building functional communities. Build and protect your own communities. That's what I say we start with. And it's possible. It's possible. I say black nationalism has to be on the table because we have way too many enemies to be talking about being friends with other people, particularly black people and particularly black Muslims. You already know the government is works against you, actively works against you. And you've seen for the last 3 generations, the Muslims come here benefiting from model minority status and working against you too, actively. And I mean actively. And you see how the Palestinians, they identified with the Black Lives Matter movement. They identified with the Black Lives Matter movement is because the suffering is the same. And what you have is Muslims who undermine and they degrade the level of suffering that Black people go through while propping up the Palestinians. And the Palestinians don't do that. The Syrians don't do that. They don't do that. Yemenis don't do that. It's other racist Muslims who do that. It's other racist Muslims who make black suffering as nothing in order to prop up Muslim suffering. And then you wonder why Allah is not helping you. Because Allah, He doesn't help the oppressor. Allah doesn't do that. There's no barrier between the dua of the oppressed and his Lord. What you think is of Allah is helping the oppressor. He's not helping those oppressors. Allah has a plan. Allah doesn't love and Allah doesn't love oppression. Allah has a plan for those people. So anyways, fam, I just wanted to leave you with that. So let me read a couple of comments here. Seema says, all I see is these so-called students of knowledge downing death, saying it's haram and stupid. Yeah, and this is what I was saying. This is what I'm saying. These guys from Salafi publications, right, and the 3rd-generation hypocrisy dawah, that's all they say. It's haram, haram, haram. That's it. And they don't offer any solutions, like nothing. Protesting is haram, donate to the masjid and go back home. That's it. Big beard, big imam like this, thobe, everything. No, you can't practice, you can't protest because haram. Okay, what's the solution then? Because Muslims want to do something. That's why they're protesting. They're protesting because they want to do something. I say Muslims should, if the Muslims are serious about changing the world, the first thing they should be doing is, order Muslims to go to the Masjid for Fajr and making dua to Allah to change the condition of the Muslims, and then from there go to work. Why do you say that, Bilal? Because this is exactly what the Sahaba did. That's what they did. Before, for a year, the Sahaba were praying tahajjud with the Prophet ﷺ before Allah revealed that, you didn't have to do it anymore. But they still continued to do it even after it was revealed it's not like a wajibat. You know what I'm saying? It was from their habits. Because anybody who can wake up early and pray to Allah in the early morning and get to work by the time energy sleep in past pressure, go out to a protest every day, 3, 4, 5 hours. All that time you're spending in the streets could be building a practical plan to build up your communities where you are, make your community strong. And by making your community strong, you make the Ummah strong at large. Then you can help Palestinians and Yemenis and Rohingya and all this kind of stuff. You understand? But where are you directing your energy? Where are you directing your energy? Are you directing your energy into an action that will help the Ummah? Or are you directing your energy into walking on the street for hours at a time, missing slot with a picket sign? You see what I'm saying? So, anyways, Stephen said one Salafi pub figure said people were being attacked for being white. Oh, na'udhu billah. What is wrong with these guys, man? As if they were victims. He totally disregarded the oppression of foundational descendants of Africans. Yeah, like I said, there's some racist Muslims, a lot of them. Inshallah, I'll expose them on my channel, inshallah. You know, he sounded like a so-called white supremacist, the exact same rhetoric. Yep. There are a lot of people like this. Anyways, I don't want to make this video too long, but Jazakumullah khair. Please like, subscribe, share. Hit me up on Patreon. And whatchamacallit. I'll see you guys next week on a different topic. I'll probably go into depth on this particular topic on my channel. Make a video or two on my channel about this. But Jazakumullah khair for the support. Subhanakallah bihamdik wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.